Banner Knowledge Bowling. I'm Steve. Let's talk bowling. Specifically, I want to talk surface changes. Now, in this context, I want to talk about making the ball fast or slow. What do I mean by that? If the ball is fast, when it finds friction on the lane, it's going to react very quickly to that and create a lot of angle. That's the hockey stick shape that I've been talking about. If we slow the ball down a little bit, what that means is when it finds that friction, it's not going to react quickly to that, and it's going to give us a smoother reaction, and that's going to be the banana shape that I've been talking about. So how do we do this? Let's look at the bowling ball. You know, we can add grit to the bowling ball with the sanding pad. You've heard 320 grit, 500 grit, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. The larger the number, the finer the grit, and the lower the number, the more that ball is going to dig into the oil and slow down much more quickly and react slower when it finds friction on the back part of the lane. Now, if we add a polishing compound to the bowling ball, that's going to make the bowling ball react very quickly when it finds friction, and that's going to be that hockey stick shape that we've been talking about. So what you can do is, if you're on a particular shot, let's go with the sport shot, where it is very sensitive. There's a lot of over-under. If you get it to the right, it won't hook. If you tug it in a little bit, it's going to hook away towards the 7-pin if you're a right-hander. If we add surface to the bowling ball, we can help that ball dig in the mid part of the lane, and when it gets to that friction, it's going to react more slowly than if the ball was polished and has a very fast reaction. That will give us some control over that break point and will allow us maybe potentially a little bit of miss and maybe our ball speed, our launch angle, our release, and how we got through that ball, so that if we miss a little bit, we're maybe still hitting the pocket and maybe striking, or at least leaving some kind of spare that we can convert. If the ball's faster in this specific example, if it gets a little too far to the right, it may never recover and then hook in behind the head pin and leave a split. Or it may catch friction a little sooner because the lanes are constantly changing and maybe dive through the middle and leave a split. So it's always the fight between, do I want more angle? Do I want a more hockey stick shape, which gives me a lot of power and a lot of striking potential, and the banana shape, the slower ball that is not going to be as risky, but we may give up a little bit of angle and a little bit of carrying issues to get all 10 pins down. And you're going to have to look at the scoring pace. You're going to have to look at the bowlers around you, and you're going to have to see what's working. When I'm on fresh sport shots, I tend to go with the equipment that's on the left side of the ball chart that we talked about before with surface, so that it's not reacting so quickly, and it will give me more of a miss at that midpoint to my break point going into the pocket. When the scores are high and there's a lot of free friction, for me, a right-hander, free friction to the right, that's when I'm going to go with those faster bowling balls, and I'm going to get them down and take full advantage of the angle that the lane is allowing me and the shot is allowing me to do. Now, because a ball is pearl, doesn't mean you can't sand it down, and because a ball is solid, doesn't mean you can't polish it up. One of my most favorite is a Hydra with a lot of surface on it. So the Hydra for me is a very fast ball. When it finds the friction on the back part of the lane, it really wants to go. So what I do is I add some surface to my Hydra, and it slows that ball down a little bit in the mid part of the lane, and I can control that break point way more than I could if it was a polish on it. And I've used that ball several times to shoot honor scores, and I feel like I can throw that ball on a lot of conditions, even though it's an angular ball more towards the light oil side of the ball chart. Now, I've also had conditions where the patterns are long, 46, 48, 51 feet, and I've had to go all the way to the left side and throw a lot of surface on those bowling balls, because on those conditions, the bowling ball won't slow down enough for me to create any kind of angle to carry all 10 pins out. Now, if I throw that same ball on my typical house shot, that ball would probably hook at the arrows and go in a straight line towards the 7-pin and be out of energy at 33 feet. So, the moral of this story is you can change the surface of your bowling ball to manipulate how it's rolling down the lane. And you can make the ball, think of it in terms of faster in reaction to the friction, or make the ball with more surface slower. It's going to slow down more, and when it finds that friction, it won't react so quickly. I think you'll find by using this logic, you'll be able to fine-tune the surface of your bowling ball to help the conditions that you're facing. Questions? Put them down below and let's chat about it. Thanks a lot.